For a covert endeavor in 1967, Adam West donned his Batman outfit for the final time. Something he filmed in London vanished for more than half a century. It had never been seen by an American enthusiast. Even the most avid Batman collectors were unaware of its existence. Everyone forgot about the video, which was hidden away in British archives. Then, in 2018, while looking for forgotten TV history, someone discovered it. Viewers were stunned by what Adam West said in the missing scene. The revelation demonstrated that even the most well-known superheroes can conceal sinister secrets. The rights to create a Batman television series were acquired by Ed Graham Productions in 1964. The plan was to create a simple Saturday morning excursion. Something reminiscent of the children's Superman adventures that CBS aired in the 1950s. Mike Henry, an NFL linebacker who later transformed into Tarzan, was to play the first live-action Batman on TV. CBS was on the verge of completing the contract by 1965, but negotiations lingered for weeks. The show was never taken up by the network. Had it been approved, Batman might have become a mild children's show, which would have severely damaged the character's reputation in popular culture for years to come. The entire idea fell apart just before filming was about to start, and Henry quickly departed the project to portray Tarzan. Although the world never saw a Saturday morning Batman because of that failure, it did pave the way for the primetime adaptation that eventually became a global sensation. Something unexpected occurred at Hugh Hefner's Playboy Mansion in Chicago that same year. Hefner made the decision to show the entire 15-episode Batman serial from 1943. The event was packed with socialites and celebrities. It initially appeared to be merely a party celebrating nostalgia, but it sparked a societal backlash that no one had anticipated. Attendees cheered throughout the action, booed the villain, shouted at the screen, and dressed up. The boisterous atmosphere during the screenings was noted by the New York Times and other media sites. Hollywood execs suddenly had a new perspective on Batman. The long-forgotten serial has returned to popularity. People were willing to accept Batman's extravagant manner as entertainment, as demonstrated by Hefner's celebration. The character might have remained trapped in dusty movie reels if that incident hadn't happened. Taking advantage of the excitement, Columbia Pictures recut the 1943 serial into a single, 4.5-hour movie titled An Evening with Batman and Robin in 1965. After making its debut at Chicago's Playboy Theater, it swiftly made its way to college towns and art house theaters. Theaters sold out of midnight showings, and concession sales reached all-time highs as crowds flooded in. With 7 chapters on Saturday and 8 on Sunday, some theaters even divided the screenings across 2 days. Lines were reported to extend around the block, with costumed admirers turning up. Both ABC and Columbia execs were taken aback by the success. It was evident from the numbers. Batman has the potential to attract large crowds. The network was persuaded that a live-action Batman series might be a huge success by those ticket sales and headlines. At this point, Yale Udoff, a young ABC executive, came into the public eye. Since he was a young boy, Udoff had been a lover of Batman. And he was more convinced than ever that the character belonged on television after witnessing the Chicago audience's response. He started promoting the concept at every meeting, even yelling at his supervisors, "We should do Batman." They initially dismissed him with laughter, but Udoff persisted. He wrote a comprehensive plan for a chic television show that combined parts of The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and James Bond. His perseverance earned him a legendary reputation. On cross-country trips, several ABC executives even acknowledged that they began reading Batman comics covertly, tucking them away in business magazines. Ultimately, Udoff's perseverance was crucial in persuading ABC to take the risk. William Dozier made a startling admission when he was brought on as producer in 1966. It was his first time reading a comic book. He decided the material could not be taken seriously at all after discovering that the Batman issues he had eventually picked up for inquiry were so bizarre. Storylines involving Batman surfing against the Joker and gadgets like shark-repellent bat spray made him believe that comedy was the only viable option. He decided to make the show a campy parody rather than an exact reproduction of the comics. It was a daring decision at a time when satire was already prevalent in American society, from Lichtenstein's comic-inspired paintings to Andy Warhol's artwork. The outcome was unlike anything seen on TV. The style was characterized by vivid clothes, exaggerated villains, and words like pow and bam that flashed over the screen. Dozier's strategy was successful. Batman was an immediate hit when it debuted in January 1966. Not everyone agreed with Dozier's plan. To start the series, the renowned espionage author Eric Ambler was originally commissioned to create a full-length Batman film. However, he left the project as soon as he found out that Dozier intended to make the character into a pop art comedy. Ambler, who was well known for his somber thrillers, had no interest in parody. His abrupt departure demonstrated how out of the ordinary Dozier's notion was. It was uncommon for a writer in Hollywood to turn down a major project just because he didn't agree with the direction. Another pivotal moment came with casting. 2 full-screen tests were recorded in 1965. Adam West and Burt Ward were in one. In the other, Peter Dale played Robin and Lyle Waggoner played Batman. Waggoner was the more secure option. He had the appearance that executives wanted and was already well known in Hollywood. But West was virtually unknown. The oddball campy vibe Dozier desired was captured by West and Ward when the test footage was compared side by side. The studio rejected the more well-known star, choosing to take a chance. Waggoner later achieved success in other television programs, such as Wonder Woman and The Carol Burnett Show. However, no one else was able to make Batman and Robin come to life like West and Ward did. Adam West's journey to the position seemed particularly improbable. A brief Nestle advertisement had drawn the producer's attention to him. He demonstrated that he could deliver outlandish words while maintaining a straight face in that advertisement with his deadpan delivery. Dozier saw right away that this was the tone the program needed. Because he could make Batman appear both serious and humorous at the same time, West beat out more well-known actors to sign his contract on September 21, 1965. His performance was unforgettable because of its special combination. In 1966, Burt Ward was chosen to play Robin. Although the character was written as an adolescent in high school, he was 20 years old at the time. Audiences believed Ward was closer to 15 or 16 because of his young appearance. He did his own stunts behind the scenes, landing him in the hospital 4 times within the first 5 days of production. He put a lot of effort into the role, as evidenced by the injuries. For years, fans argued over his actual age, but his vigor and athleticism made him an excellent fit for the role. Experienced stage actors provided weight to the performance by supporting the 2 main characters. The role of Alfred was played by Alan Napier, who was born in 1903 and is related to former British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain. Napier joined Batman in 1966 at the age of 63, having trained at London's Royal Academy of Dramatic Art and performed since the 1920s. Neil Hamilton, who played Commissioner Gordon, had a lengthy background in theatrical plays and silent movies. Because of their backgrounds, the program was grounded and the colorful anarchy around them was counterbalanced by a feeling of gravity. Frederick Wortham, a psychiatrist, wrote a book titled Seduction of the Innocent in 1954. He stated something in it that startled readers and swiftly went viral in America. Batman stories, according to Wortham, are psychologically gay. He brought up the fact that Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne shared a home, were occasionally pictured lounging together, and had no women living there. He also mentioned instances where youngsters expressed their desire to live alongside Bruce Wayne. Wortham even went so far as to describe the comic as a fantasy in which 2 gays cohabitate. His theories resonated with the broader anxieties of the 1950s, when the Lavender Scare was at its height. The book didn't make the accusation go away. It had a lasting impact on Batman and persisted for years. As the Batman TV series gained popularity in the 1960s, actors and producers continued to be concerned that any aspect of the program may reignite the debate. Batman was one of the most rigorously examined children's programs of its era for hidden societal meaning, with every detail, including dialogue, costumes, and plotlines, scrutinized. When an article headlined "The Whisper Campaign Against Batman and Robin" appeared in the magazine TV Radio Album in 1967, the tension became apparent. Although it was only 2 pages long and the remainder of the spread was devoted to pictures of the heroes in costume, its words were powerful. For the first time, a mainstream journal talked about the actors Adam West and Burt Ward, as well as the speculations circulating regarding Batman and Robin's relationship. The paper presented clever parallels even as it refuted the claims. They must have heard the murmurs, like Liberace a few years back, but they are probably laughing all the way to the bank, according to one sentence. In the 1950s, the well-known pianist Liberace sued newspapers for suggesting he was gay. He once quipped that he cried all the way to the bank after obtaining $8,000 in damages, which was equivalent to $22,000 at the time. The comment was a reference to Liberace. The publication fueled the suspicions by mentioning him while feigning disbelief. It demonstrated how intensely the rumors had spread and were a topic of discussion for discussions about television and sexuality at the time. The Liberace analogies were not incidental. They demonstrated how authors could bring up the topic without directly accusing someone by using coded language and clever references. Knowing that readers would make the connection, the TV radio album article capitalized on this strategy. The article implied that, similar to Liberace, the Batman cast members were aware of the joke and were taking pleasure in their notoriety while disregarding the rumors. However, the show's producers took the rumors seriously. They were concerned that advertisers and the family audience could be turned off by the notion of a homosexual milieu surrounding the series. ABC officials intervened right away. In order to make Batman's desire to women more apparent, they decided to rework some scenes in the program. One particularly notable instance was when Batman explained to Robin that the early thrusts of masculinity were the reason he was drawn to attractive supervillains. Although the line was harsh, it was intentional. From that point on, even though it seemed out of place for the campy tone of the series, the scripts frequently included Batman displaying interest in women. The purposeful action was to reassure sponsors and the audience that the Caped Crusader was safe and heterosexual. The scripts weren't the end of the campaign. In order to portray Adam West and Burt Ward as unquestionably manly, the studio started a publicity campaign behind the scenes. They practiced karate, discussed their marriages, or displayed their kids in magazines and press kits. Their hobbies and exercise regimens were even presented as evidence of their manliness. Although it was nearly frantic, the effort showed how much pressure the performers and the network were under. In the 1960s, a mere rumor could jeopardize the popularity of an entire series in addition to the reputation of a star. At the same time, the show itself started to have issues unrelated to rumors. Batman erupted onto television screens in January 1966 and became an immediate phenomenon. 14 million homes watched it at its height in February, accounting for an incredible 42% of the audience. However, the thrill was short-lived. The Wednesday night programs barely made it into the weekly top 20 by March 1966, having fallen so much. The concept was already beginning to feel monotonous, and ABC memos at the time acknowledged that the novelty was wearing off. The term Batman fatigue started to circulate. The deterioration became a collapse by the summer of 1966. Batman had been one of the most popular shows in the nation just a few months prior. However, an August 11 Associated Press story revealed that Batman was no longer listed among the highest-rated shows due to a dramatic drop in ratings. The viewers were no longer there, but the merchandise was still selling well. Although networks had anticipated a slight decline throughout the summer, this was much more severe than normal. Already, the fad that had shaped slang and fashion was disappearing. The excitement was meant to be reignited with the 1966 release of the Batman movie. The studio anticipated a huge smash and invested heavily in promotion. Rather, the movie only brought in $1.7 million at the box office. In 20 major cities, it did 122% as well as a typical movie. However, studio analysts had anticipated a hit closer to 200%. Sales of merchandise continued to be good, but the film itself did not turn a profit. Both ABC and 20th Century Fox were taken aback by the disappointment. Who had anticipated that the movie would prolong the franchise's lifespan? The ratings for the second season, which debuted in September 1966, were dismal. Batman saw a terrible decline from its top 5 ranking earlier that year, averaging 34th place across all television shows. The addition of new antagonists like the Archer and Catwoman didn't help, as some episodes even dropped into the 40s in the rankings. It was evident from the numbers that the magic had worn off, and cast members were openly concerned about cancellation. The most unexpected piece of allegedly prohibited Batman content from 1966 wasn't even from an American television show. Adam West filmed a traffic safety message for British children in May 1967 while dressed as Batman in London. No one had seen this footage for over 50 years. Even the most dedicated Batman fans in America were unaware of its existence. The movie was finally rediscovered in 2018 when the archive organization Kaleidoscope came upon it while attempting to retrieve the top 100 missing TV clips from the UK. Most people thought it was lost forever because it had never been aired outside of Britain before. It felt like unearthing a secret gem from British cultural history and superhero culture when it was eventually released to the public in 2018. In the video, Batman uses his notoriety to instruct kids in the curb drill, which is Britain's take on traffic safety regulations. Adam West stands on a peaceful street and tells kids about the deadly risk they face every day when crossing the street. With composed authority, he walks through the stairs. Glance right, glance left, look right again, stop at the curb, and only cross when it's safe to do so. In a way that no other actor has ever done, he remains completely in character as Batman, fusing the British Safety Council with the American superhero image. The movie was forgotten for decades, so its 2018 resurgence serves as a potent warning that even the most successful brands can lose parts of their past. On April 14, 2018, Birmingham City University hosted the first public screening. The screening kicked off Kaleidoscope's nationwide hunt for 100 forgotten television treasures, which included Doctor Who and Avengers episodes. Professionals and devoted fans alike attended the event, and many were surprised to discover that Batman had previously appeared in a safety movie called Forgotten Road. The rediscovery demonstrated the amount of significant media that is still concealed in private collections and archives, just waiting to be discovered. The singer Leslie Gore was another aspect of Batman history that baffled many. In the two-part episode Scat Darn Catwoman, she played Pussycat, Catwoman's sidekick. It was broadcast on January 25, 1967. She sang two songs, California Nights and Maybe Now, during the narrative. Maybe Now disappeared from American reruns for reasons no one has ever been able to understand, while California Nights persisted. Although some prints and international broadcasts still featured it, the song was written with her brother, Michael Gore, and released as the B-side of her single, Treat Me Like a Lady. The concert was interrupted by MeTV broadcasts and American cable replays. The missing number became one of the most peculiar mysteries of the show since many viewers were unaware of its existence. Additionally, there was a contentious incident involving Commissioner Gordon. In one version of the episode, Alfred uses bat sleep spray to render him comatose after Batman brings him into the Batcave, causing him to forget the hero's hidden identities. This sequence was cut by several syndications, or completely eliminated the gassing because the creators were concerned about depicting a police commissioner under the influence of drugs, especially in a campy setting. Gordon's participation in the Batcave was completely minimized in other versions. With millions of children watching, the adjustments demonstrated how even light-hearted entertainment has to be mindful of its limitations. Not every odd tale from the Batman period originated on television. Adam West was prohibited from Aspen, Colorado, in the late 1960s. For 15 years following an infamous party that went awry. Alcohol, he subsequently acknowledged? Indeed. Ladies? Indeed. Police? Indeed. He was referred to as a Hollywood hellraiser in the rumors of the time. Despite the fact that no criminal charges were ever brought, some believed the ban was the result of noise complaints and property damage. Officials at Aspen sent West a letter verifying his homecoming exactly 15 years later. His status as more than simply a TV superhero was solidified by the episode. West and Burt Ward gained not only notoriety for their nightlife off-camera but also for their battles against Gotham's baddies. Later, Ward acknowledged that they frequently ran with excited admirers still dressed as their characters. He revealed experiences in his autobiography that startled viewers and made the show's creators look foolish. He also said that he once jumped into the mud from a motel window to get away from an envious husband. West claimed that Ward exaggerated many of the allegations that were circulating about the stars, but these stories also contributed to them. Nevertheless, the rumors caused tension in their professional relationship and alarmed network management, who were concerned that the show's family-friendly reputation may be tarnished. Even their co-stars contributed to the mystique of the show. The Joker's actor, Cesar Romero, is renowned for not shaving his beard. Rather, for all 120 episodes in the 1966 movie, the makeup crew painted it thickly white. Close-ups still revealed a faint shape, which adds to Romero's Joker's memorability. One of the most talked-about oddities in the whole Batman franchise began as a personal vanity. The ensemble frequently led wild lives behind the scenes, just like their fictional characters. Both West and Ward claim that their success resulted in countless parties with late hours, booze, and unceasing attention. Actors were exhausted during filming, and makeup artists had to put in extra effort to keep them looking fresh because these parties occasionally lasted until dawn. The off-camera chaos occasionally rivaled the weekly outrageous adventures, according to accounts from the time. The 1960s Batman is still remembered not only for its campy humor and vibrant action, but also for the innumerable untold tales that surrounded it. The renowned science fiction author Harlan Ellison was asked to submit a pitch for a Batman TV episode in 1966. Despite being one of Batman's most well-known adversaries, he decided to introduce the tragic villain Two-Face, who had never appeared on the series. The story was titled The Two-Way Crimes of Two-Face by Ellison. It had a darker edge that set it apart, but it also complemented the show's light-hearted, campy aesthetic. Actor Clint Eastwood was even considered for the part at one point, which would have given the series a lot of star power. That same day, however, Ellison's pitch arrived. ABC was losing one of its top executives. The script was turned down due to the timing and the underlying politics. For almost half a century, the concept remained hidden in Ellison's files. Fans didn't get a chance to see what might have been until 2014, when DC finally turned it into a comic book titled Batman 66, The Lost Episode. Additionally, the program made significant investments in building the Batboat for the 1966 film and TV series. The custom boat was built by Glastron and loaded with gadgets meant to dazzle viewers. It made its first appearance in the film, but the cost of filming on water was shocking. Each scene required special equipment, more staff, and extra safety procedures, typically adding thousands of dollars per session. Because of the cost, producers utilized the Batboat only sparingly, and eventually it was stored away in storage. For fans, it became almost mythological, a reminder of how constrained funds caused the program to cut back on some of its most thrilling ideas. By the third season in 1968, Batman's ratings had fallen. ABC canceled the show abruptly, but just as hope seemed gone, NBC showed interest in rescuing it with a fourth season. Then a shocking mistake was exposed. The producers had already bulldozed the sets, including the Batcave, Wayne Manor, and Commissioner Gordon's office. The cost to rebuild them was estimated at several $100,000, amounting to more than $2 million now. When NBC learned of this, they dropped the idea. What could have been a rescue for the series ended in what is now known as one of television's most expensive production catastrophes. For years, fans assumed NBC had genuinely planned a fourth season, but official documents tell a different story. Ratings had already hit their lowest point, and the budget was running at a loss. Only 17 episodes were ordered for the third season, and costly features like the Batboat were either dropped or rarely used. Once the sets were destroyed, the expense of rebuilding them was too high for 1968 television. NBC made a quick inquiry but never took any more action. Documents reveal that the idea of a lost fourth season was financially unfeasible from the beginning, making it more of a myth than a reality. Producers had looked into spin-offs while Batman was still a popular franchise. One even filmed a pilot for a Batgirl series, but she was eventually included to the main series. A show for Robin and perhaps one that would showcase other DC heroes, a sort of early Justice League, were among the other suggestions. With concept drawings and network talks, a few of these proposals advanced to the pitch stage. However, all of the spin-offs were cancelled after Batman fell in the third season and the sets were demolished. Only a few days before casting was scheduled to start, some were dropped. The conclusion of Batman also signaled the end of any opportunity to create a broader superhero universe, according to network notes from 1967 and 1968.